guys, I'm finally getting around to make my video, how I got my baby to fall asleep and to sleep through the night. Okay, so first I'm going to have a disclaimer that this is what worked for my family and for my baby, and I felt like he was ready at his specific point in time to kind of learn how to sleep train. I'm not a doctor, I'm not like an expert in this. This is just what worked for me and for my family, but I really hope that this video can help somebody because sleeping babies just make mommy's lives so much easier. So first, a little background, if you're not familiar with Davey and kind of like his sleeping problems. He was never a good sleeper at all. He slept better as a newborn than he did at like 2-3 months. 4 months, that's like when he really started his sleep regression. Finally sleep trained him at about 10 months old. I felt like at that time he was ready for it. Okay, so as I said, Davey was never a really good sleeper at all. So what he was doing about the time that we started sleep training is he was waking up constantly throughout the night. He was getting up it would really range between half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. He was just waking up constantly and he could not put himself back to sleep. Around 8-9 months, he started not falling asleep nursing at all. So I would nurse him at night and then rock him to sleep, and then I would put him in his crib sleeping, which I know you're not supposed to do that, but it's really, really hard, I guess, to break that habit once you've kind of like gone into it. So I really thought the issue was he is just waking up normally, because you normally just wake up, even we do as adults, just wake up and then we can put ourselves back to sleep, is he was not learning and he did not know how to put himself back to sleep. So I kind of had to train him to kind of self-soothe a little bit, and knowing that we weren't abandoning him and that he just kind of had to learn how to put himself back to sleep on his own. So what I was doing when we got into our bad habit was he would wake up, I would come back in. Sometimes he would just want the bink, sometimes he would need to be picked up and rocked and then put back to sleep. And we were still nursing. I would kind of, if it, like rocking wasn't really doing it, I would nurse him and then rock him, and it was just like this huge process, and it was horrible and I wasn't getting any sleep. Okay, so that's kind of like our little background on where Davey was. He was napping in his crib during the day, but again, I would rock him to sleep and then I would put him down sleeping. Okay, so this is what we did. I will reference the article that we used down below, but we kind of varied it a little bit, I think, to kind of cater us and what we needed to do and what we felt comfortable doing. So we started in the morning. I woke up one morning, I'm like, this is what we need to do. We're sleep training. Okay, I'm gonna start with his naps. So we started with his naps during the day, which I think I started rocking him a little bit. We had like a little bit of cuddles. I think I rocked him for a couple minutes and then I put him in his crib awake. And I think he just fell asleep, I was completely amazed. I'm like, I cannot believe he just fell asleep by himself alone in his crib. That was amazing. He did that again for his afternoon nap too, and I was completely amazed. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe this whole sleep training thing is going to be really easy. But I'm like, this is too good to be true. This cannot be working. So that night, what we decided to do, I think it's called a variation of the cry it out method. It's like scheduled visiting or something, cry it out method. I can't remember the exact name of like exact what it's called. What we did was we did our normal bedtime routine, which I'm going to be making a separate video on that for our like bedtime routine. But we've had a pretty consistent bedtime routine since day one, so I knew that wasn't really the issue, but we still kind of stuck to that. I nursed him, I rocked him for a few minutes, and then I put him down in his crib. I put my hand on his chest and I sang our little song. I just sang Twinkle Twinkle, and then I kissed him on the forehead. I said goodnight and I walked out of the room. And of course he started screaming because he was awake, and I kind of like, I never do that. I never really left him alone at night like that before. So what our plan was, we would come back in at minute intervals. So I left the room starting at 2 minutes. I think we started at 2 minutes, or was it 1 minute? I think it was 2. I think I let him cry for 2 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, and I had a timer. So I left the room. And at the end of 2 minutes with him crying, I came back in. I put my hand on his chest to kind of reassure him that I was there. I think I hummed to him a little bit, and then I walked back out. And of course he started screaming. And then again, you're supposed to increase that by a minute. So then the next time I let it go 3 minutes. And then the next time I would let it go 4 minutes, and then 5 minutes. And it never went past 6 minutes. Even that first night, I think I let him cry for 6 minutes. I came back in. At that point, he was exhausted, I was crying, and that was horrible. And it is so hard. It is so hard, you guys. But trust me, it is so worth it, okay? So 6 minutes, he screamed. I came back in, put the bank in. He kind of rolled over, and then he went to sleep. And that total was half an hour. and he slept and he fell asleep. And I think he woke up twice that first night. I think he woke up again at like midnight. And then you do the same thing when they wake up at night. You come back in, reassure them that you're still there, kind of settle them down a little bit, but you're never supposed to pick them up or remove them from their crib. That's like the key. And the key is to be consistent in what you're doing. I really recommend, before you decide to kind of sleep train your baby, is to come up with your plan of attack, and you know that you're going to stick to it, because that really helped me, having a plan of, okay, I'm going to go in every 2, then I'm going to increase it and go in every 3 minutes, and then at 4, and then 5. That really like helped me kind of have a plan and reassuring that like I'm going to stick to my plan, and that's what I'm doing. And my husband actually wanted to break before me, so that was funny. So that's what we did with the sleep training. He kind of learned how to fall asleep on his own. We also decided to night wean at the same time with breastfeeding. I knew he was ready. I knew he was kind of like overeating at night, and I knew that he did not need to eat during the night anymore. Of course, I'd recommend to check with your doctor and discuss that with your doctor first, just to make sure that they are ready, but I knew he was ready to night wean. So, and he has never been super attached to the boob. He never really like wants to comfort nurse or anything. So that was really, really easy for us, and he adjusted really, really well to this new schedule. I want to say like the first night was it was really, really difficult, but it was so much easier than what I thought it was gonna be. I don't know. And that pretty much worked from like then on out. And right now, I think we've been doing this for 3 weeks, almost a month now. And he pretty much sleeps throughout the night. We put him to bed anywhere between like 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And he will sleep all the way up until like 6:30, anywhere between 6:30 to like 8 in the morning. Sometimes he does wake up in the middle of the night, but I just come back in, I put his pacifier back in, kind of put my hand on his chest, stay there for a minute, and I walk out, and he goes back to sleep. So he might wake up once a night, and I will come in and kind of like do that, and then walk out, and he will go back to sleep. So it is amazing. We went from him getting up every half an hour, 45 minutes, to an hour, 2 hours, to him sleeping through the night in a matter of like 2 days. So I don't know if I'm just one of the lucky ones that sleep training worked really well with him. I'm not sure, but he was definitely ready, and we felt like we were ready to sleep train him and night wean all at once. So yeah, that's kind of what we did. So yeah, that's what we did to sleep train our baby. It worked really, really well for us. It has made me a much happier person. Baby is happier and so much more better rested. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys are new to my channel, and I will see you guys later. Bye!